A Fox News alert: French authorities learning more about the airport attacker who held a gun to a soldier's head while screaming that he wanted to die for Allah before being shot dead.
The 39-year-old radicalized Muslim was known to authorities. His home was one of many searched after the deadly Paris attacks in 2015. Here to weigh in, physician and author in The Land of Invisible Women, Dr. Kanta Ahmed. Doctor, thank you for joining us this morning.
Pleasure. Good morning.
So what do we know so far about what happened there?
The individual was a French citizen. He was Muslim of Tunisian origin. He had a lengthy criminal history, including armed robbery and also drug trafficking from my reading. And this was a determined person. He sped on his way to his mission. He was pulled over for speeding, shot the police officer, injured her, went on to carjack another vehicle, and within 16 minutes of arriving at the airport had actually already held at gunpoint a French soldier and attempted to take away her very powerful automatic weapon.
So, Doctor, we've heard a little bit about the words that he said. You know, I am here to die for Allah. There will be deaths. Tell us what you know about the ideological motives of this shooter and what it might tell you about the context and the environment there in France right now.
Great question. It's very hard to discount this as a frank Islamist attack. This is the ideology that Islamists use. I think it's significant that he appears to have had somewhat of a ramshackle plan. He tried to grab the gun of the French soldier. I heard as I was driving in here that there was kerosene and a lighter found in his backpack. I haven't been able to verify that yet. This sounds like an individual who is acting with some individual intent, maybe an ISIS-inspired rather than ISIS-directed, but definitely he's following the path of the behavior of most terrorists from radical Islam. That's what it seems like.
And Doctor, when you look back at the terror attacks that France has seen over just the last 2 years, the shooting at the Louvre, the Nice terror attack, the Paris terror attack, Charlie Hebdo, the list is getting lengthy here. There was a lot of warning signs with this particular individual. How is France and the officials there, how are they going to change their way about going about protecting from these types of attacks, especially after this one?
I think it's important to say that the French authorities did an incredible job apprehending him within minutes. In precious seconds, lives can be saved. We knew when we had an attack like this, public areas in airports are becoming increasingly lethal for passengers because screening cannot be performed there. So we know within 80 seconds in Fort Lauderdale, 5 lives were lost, 6 very seriously injured, dozens hurt in the panic. So they saved a lot of lives. But I think they're going to need to engage more human intelligence, more plainclothes policemen inside airports. We knew this person was back and forth with the authorities. There's radicalization going on in French prisons as well. So multi-pronged approach. But it's something that the authorities alone cannot do. Citizens have to get involved. He also texted family members on the way during this attack, "I screwed up, I shot a policeman." That tells us that there was a community around this operative who had some knowledge of his actions. And that's where we need to examine and hopefully intervene.
He lived with those family members as well.
No, you answered the question I was going to ask. So it's a perfect answer. Ultimately, the community itself has to be policing this activity as well.
And Peter, one thing that we have to say is, you were mentioning in the last 2 years, since the attack on the Toulouse school in France, which cost 7 lives, 3 of them children at the Jewish school, there has been unprecedented Islamist insurgency in France.
All right.
Unfortunately.
Doctor, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Doctor.
My pleasure.